Welcome to the official Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society's podcast. I'm your host, Barnaby, and you're listening to Whispers from the Dark. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. I am Barnaby, your host, and today we are giving you more episodes that were recorded at the Janesville Paranormal and Metaphysical Expo. Joining me again is Ma. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So today's episode is going to feature 3 more interviews from the expo. Our first up today is Angela Zabel. She is a teacher, a coach, and a medium. And then second on today's show will be Park City Paranormal, an all-girl paranormal group from just north of Wausau, Wisconsin. And they're looking for cases, so if you want to check them out and give them something to do, go and check out their Facebook page. And up next, finally on today's episode, is going to be Karlie The Medium. And she talks about becoming a medium and being self-taught. But first up on today's show... And now, it's time for Ma's Book Corner! Yay! Alright, so, what do you guys think of our new intro to Ma's Book Corner? The applause stops. We worked very hard on that, so I hope you appreciated it. So, Ma, we keep asking people... Ma! We keep asking people to send us books and stuff for you to review, so it's time. They don't? Oh my. Well, I buy enough, so...
Me too.
So what have you been reading recently?
I've been reading Ken Gerhard. I've read quite a few Ken Gerhard, but today's book is called Big Bird, Modern Sightings of Flying Monsters. I'm sorry, Ken, but I pick up your books and go, I really don't want to read about these kind of creatures, but after I get going, they're pretty good. So there's a lot of comparisons in this book to Owlman, Mothman, and just other large birds, and pterosaurs, and Quetzalcoatlus, and so many more that people see them and describe them, and then they're like, it looks like this, and they describe like dinosaurs and stuff. But there's a lot of different sightings and attacks by winged creatures, and he explains the size, the shape, the wingspan, everything in there. And it's kind of interesting, and it's from all over the world. And there's a lot of comparisons to Bat Squatch and chupacabras, and it's just there's so many sightings in there, and it's only a little book, but there's a lot in there, and it's how people compare them in their own ways, their own different ways, and how people perceive the same creature differently than other people, and they perceive different creatures the same way. Like you compare a dinosaur to a bird, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a bird," and then the other ones say, "No, it was more like a dinosaur, and it had a tail." And the dinosaurs really didn't have tails except for one kind. And he goes into all the explanation of all the different dinosaurs and stuff, and then he gives his recounts. It's just Ken Gerhard, Big Bird.
Awesome. And without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our first guest. All right, our next guest on Whispers from the Dark. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Angela Zabel. I am a teacher, coach, and a medium. So I really love what I do because I connect to so many things that all of you are connecting to also. So it's always a lot of fun.
So you're a teacher, a coach, and a medium. Is that all the same thing, or are those separate?
They are separate. So with me, I also help people on their spiritual and personal journey. I help them as they're experiencing things. I have a team on the other side that works with me, and they help me understand what people are going through and what they're experiencing. So I always count on them because they have the information. They know everything. And they come through to give me information, being very specific they'll tell me what people are already experiencing, and then the people verify, and then I go through and they're giving me information on how they can move through and other ways they can connect to what they've been trying to connect to, and to find different ways to work with those on the other side.
Very interesting. Cool. I think she was drawn to her energy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, just by the fact that the way she was the medium, we know that
Somebody told her something.
The three of us, we all vibrate a little bit higher than normal. We're goofballs.
And I like
to have
goofballs.
We vibrate a lot, yeah.
No.
Did you drag her over to our booth?
No,
Is
I
this
did
from-
not.
No, all right.
Are you sure? I thought that's what happened.
Mentally.
He'll pay you later.
I was setting an SOS out to everyone to come see us, check us out, see my premiere, check out Barnaby, and see, people just happen to show up. They
Are you
just
pimping me out now? Check
you-
out Barnaby.
If you only knew, Barnaby.
Oh my God.
If you only knew.
So you were talking. You're a coach and a teacher. So are you saying that you coach and teach mediumship and stuff like that, or are you like a school teacher as well?
No, I coach and teach mediumship. I do mediumship intuition. I help people to connect to what they want to connect to. I also help with our souls. So our souls, we're not just us. There's another part of us that we can connect to get more information. And that's part of what I do also, is connecting your soul to the rest of your soul. I kind of look at ourselves as sometimes two different people because we are kind of split at times, and being able to connect to that information. And that's really how we connect to those on the other side. Their souls are what we're connecting into. So it's knowing that as our soul, we can connect to anything and anybody and anything that's around us.
We've had a couple mediums and psychics and stuff on our podcast and stuff, so I'm always interested in like your different viewpoints, because I find that different ones actually see or experience things differently. So when you're communicating with the other side, how do you see things? Do you hear things?
So I look at that, everyone is different. Just like all of us are unique and different, so are they. Same thing. So some people are real quiet. They'll work more with pictures, words, things will just come into my head. Other ones are very visual, and they'll almost appear in front of me. And other ones they like to use, if they love songs, I'll have songs going through my head. So every single one is different. And just as all of us, I look at all of them no different than us. And for me, I always look at when I walk into a room, the people I see here, multiply that by 10, that's how many are really in the room.
Yeah, I get that feeling from time to time. I pick up on energies all the time. Walking in a room, you can feel someone's good, bad, having a good day, bad day, indifferent. I totally understand that. Like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, that the energy here today seems to be pretty awesome. Everyone's having a good time, smiling, which in the past, you never know, because the energy that's brought from possible haunted items or from paranormal could be negative. So coming down here, just being the first convention I've come to, I'm actually shocked how lighthearted it is here and how good vibrations there are.
That's the one thing I really love, because a lot of people look at when people passed or when you're connecting into any of the ghosts, the paranormal, any of that stuff, they look at it as more of a heavier energy. For me, I look at it as it's a lighthearted energy, especially now. We're going through an energy shift from the third to the fifth dimensional. Because of that, there is going to be more and more activity that a lot of people are going to be witnessing, because our frequency is changing, so we're tapping into that dimension that they're already on. That's the biggest thing I'm so excited for, because so many more people are experiencing this. And for me, it's amazing, because it's showing that you are more than just our human body. We are a soul that is connecting into everything. So for me, I'm excited. I'm very excited with this. And they are very lighthearted. So I also look at when you have people that maybe had a potty mouth in life, they're going to have a potty mouth on the other side.
Thank God.
Right? The sarcastic ones stay sarcastic.
Good. I wouldn't want to change.
We ain't changing at all, Barn. Not at all.
It's absolutely hilarious, except when I have to, like, tell somebody what they're really saying to me, and I'm kind of like, do I really let this go or not?
I have done like Estes sessions. Are you familiar with that? It's like a spirit box, and
Yes.
you put the headphones on, the
Yep.
blinder in, and I have gotten some very interesting things come through on there, and I'm like, do I really want to repeat this? Well, I guess I gotta, and it comes out. So I know exactly what you're talking about there. The things that you hear, yeah.
Absolutely. It's fun because they do like to have fun with us. So when there's different things where you're experiencing taps, where you're feeling things, they really do like to have fun with us and keep kind of poking us to say, hey, do you see me yet? Do you realize I'm here? And it's kind of like, are you going to get it yet? So sometimes it's like kind of like knocking on your head. Are you there yet? Did you get it? And they're very patient, but sometimes they really get a little bit out there to finally get your attention. And that's really what's pulling people, I think, more into investigating this and looking at it and understanding it's not here to harm us. It's only here to help us.
You were talking about like a dimensional shift and stuff going on. We had another medium energy worker and stuff on a couple shows ago, and they were talking about how there seems to be like this big change coming. Are you saying that you're kind of picking up on the same thing?
Oh yeah, there's a big change. All I can say is be ready. So for me, I've been really, so with all the crazy that's happened in the world in the last couple of years, as soon as that started hitting, I was super excited. I was one of those people where people probably wanted to hit me over the head with something because I was a little like the excited puppy dog because I knew, here we go, we're going into the change. So exciting. And part of that change is those on the other side are going to be able to make themselves more apparent. And this is not just people that pass. This is also, you're looking at the ET realms, all the other realms. All of that is going to be making themselves known and more able for us to photograph them so more people are realizing there's more out there to the world than what we've been taught to believe.
We see that a lot. I mean, TV has always been a big influence in this stuff, with finding Bigfoot and ghost hunters and stuff. And there's kind of been a lack in those shows recently, and they're starting to come back and build more with the launch of the Discovery Plus and stuff. They're looking for those new channels, and there's more and more people out there experiencing and reporting. And just this past week, well, we're filming this or recording this in April, but this past week they had this huge 1,500 page disclosure of UFO stuff again that just came out. And you're talking about these things that are now happening and stuff. You definitely see that out there.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a lot more of it. So be prepared. I say, hold on to your seatbelt because she's coming.
So what do you when you say you see that stuff and that, like, are you getting stuff from the other side as far as that as well? Like,
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and connecting. So one of the things I don't think people maybe realize, or if you're open to it, I should say, if you're open to it, when you start tapping into things on the other side, if you're open to it, you can tap into all of it. So this is other dimensions. I call them star nations because sometimes people look at it as, if you say ET or aliens, they get a little freaked out. For me, it's star nations. They're from another star. And when you look at it that way, all of that is accessible. And when everybody's investigating here, for me, I'm looking at it like, yep, they're starting to tap in. They're starting to get the information. And once you start there, more becomes available if you're letting yourself be open to looking for the rest.
so as a teacher, you obviously help people like with this. So without giving your whole thing and stuff, obviously, because we want people to go to you and do this, but like, what are some basic things that people can start with?
The basic thing, for me, intuition. I look at intuition, it's a muscle. It's a muscle you can grow and you can practice with. Anytime you're getting something, if you're feeling something, if you're getting information where you just kind of know things, thank yourself. Thank yourself for, like, I recognized it. And every time you thank yourself and you listen to it and you start trusting yourself, you're building that intuition every single time. And anything you're interested in, I encourage people, whatever you're interested in, whether it be investigating, whether it be oracle cards, pendulums, any of those things, or just taking a class and learning about energy, that's all building your intuitive muscle. I always say your intuition knows what you need. Whatever you're really interested with, run with it. Run with it and run, and because it's going to take you to the next thing you need.
She answered already what I was thinking.
Okay. You know, you always get that look on your
She
face.
is a medium.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
All I had to do was think it. Went right
job.
there and she answered.
Good. I lost my train of thought. You
So
guys,
you get readings and stuff like that too, I take it?
Yeah,
then?
I do
Yeah.
readings, a lot of intuitive guidance. Like I said, I don't know if I said or not, but I work with a team on the other side,
Yep.
and that's really where my readings are coming from. I get information, I just let it flow through me for the people in front of me, and that's what they're giving me. That's why they do the specific information. I don't know the people in front of me, but they do, and that's the information they're giving, and it's really guidance information to help people on their path, to help them understand what they're experiencing, why they're experiencing, and how to work through what they're experiencing in a lot deeper level, instead of just like, hey, you know, if things are going a little crazy in your life, maybe, and just telling you things are going crazy in your life, where they're telling you, here's things to help ease the craziness. There's just things to help do that. And then also, like with the guidance on what you're tapping into, they help ways to communicate with what you're trying to tap into that work for you. Because all of us are unique and individual, so you're going to work differently, and that's what they help me with.
so you
Oh, it's very cool. Very cool.
you seem very positive and very excited about the change that's coming. So you think that whatever is coming is a good thing.
Absolutely. I look at it as a freight train clearing off the track, and that's what we're doing right now. We're clearing the track off, but there ain't no stopping that freight train. It's on its way, and it's going to be a really good change. Is it going to be crazy, chaotic? I tell people I'm not a sugarcoater. Absolutely. But is it going to be where we need to be later? Absolutely. So, yeah, we've got some great change coming. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to feel real off for some people. But if you know that when the change is here, it's to help us, it's a great way to look at it. So you don't have to go into fear or worrying about the chaos, because it's going to be there. Stepping out of it doesn't mean you have to go into the chaos. It doesn't mean you have to go into the fear. You can step back and know that this is part of the change and part of what we're here to do, to make this change.
So basically, the world as we know is pretty much changing. It's not the end of the world, but the end of the world as we know it.
Absolutely. The end of the world as we know it, we're never going back to the old world. Never. We're creating a brand new world, and if I look at it, it's freaking amazing.
A lot of the stuff that's being accepted now in today's age is the stuff that I grew up with in the 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. So getting a chance to speak to people like you, it just reminds me of, the younger days of the teachings and hearing the things I did growing up through the different churches and religions and stuff like that. It just reinsures the message that I was taught all them years ago.
Absolutely. So, and it's letting go of what we felt the world was supposed to be, or what we were told it was going to be, and accept that it's going to be a brand new world, a very supportive world, and it's going to take all of us to do it, but we all can do it. And everyone here, everyone doing all this, and everything you all do is all a part of it, and to know it's a big part of that change. So it's all needed.
I have a question about your the ETs and stuff. I forget the term you had for them, but
Star Nations.
Star Nations. There you go.
I was
Yep.
going to say star creatures, but I knew that wasn't right.
I was thinking star something, and I wasn't sure where I was going with it. So, now, do you believe, we were talking about them on different levels and different dimensions and stuff? Do you think that they're coexist on our planet in a different dimension, or
Yes.
are they from completely different planets?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So I do believe there's coexisting, and there's ones that don't necessarily come to our planet, but other ones that do coexist with us. So there is both aspects of them. It's not one or the other, but it is both. Ones that choose to coexist with us, and ones that choose to more observe us. But and I look at it, every experience I've ever had with any of them, connecting with any of them, I've never had a fearful aspect. It's all been a really full of love and compassion, and really wanting to communicate and be with us.
I hear that a lot in the different, like, the people that, the experiencers and stuff like that, that the people, they always have, like, the same message. Like, the save your planet, the, you know, the, we're here to help you and stuff like that. And it sounds like you have kind of like the same experience with that.
Yes, and a lot of it is, so one thing that's a little different for me is they're not necessarily here to save us. They're here for us to realize we can take care of ourselves. So it's putting the power back within each of us, because I feel like so many times it's been given up thinking like they're better than us, they're more advanced, they're more this. And actually, we're more advanced in other areas and they're advanced in other areas, but actually we're really equal to each other. And understanding that we're equal and they're not more than us or we're not more than them, that's the biggest, I think, hurdle in our minds when we start looking at them as equal. And just like walking down the street, if you look at people as equal, it's all good. There's not that competition and that division. So that's where we're going.
Yeah, we definitely should look at each other all as equals, beings, people, whatnot, but unfortunately the human race
Souls.
has
Souls. Yes. And it's getting more and more, and you're seeing that. As you mentioned before, when you went to other ones it kind of felt darker energy, but when you're here you're feeling a different energy. The energy's shifting and you're already feeling it. I stumped you, didn't I?
No, I had somewhere I was going, and it's gone now again. I get caught. I have to disconnect from the conversation for a while in order to keep my mind and just let you talk. But I get engaged in it, and I forget where I'm going.
See, he's going to think about it, and I shoot from the hip.
Well, I would have to cut her off otherwise if I was going to shoot from the hip.
Well, see, I'm trying, but...
So what do you think about this? All right, now on to the next topic. That would be how this conversation would go.
That's a whole different team member. You know, just keep shooting questions.
Luckily, he doesn't record the podcast.
I would like to mention, when you talk about, you know, the different aspects, like you do Bigfoot, you do the Mothman, you do all this. These are all I look at, and my experiences, these are different, they're on different frequencies. So we talk about different dimensions. I look at it more as different frequencies. When your frequency changes, even for a moment, that's when the sightings happen. That's when people see things. And then when your frequency changes, you're back down to the other frequency. So for me, I look at it as when you're seeing things, your frequency shifted for a moment to see it, and then your frequency shifted back. But the cool thing is, once you realize your frequency shifted once, you can do it again.
Well, that's, as a medium, that's what you do all the time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing, it's dealing with the frequency. So I don't look too much at dimensions, more as frequency. And knowing that every time you do it, you can do it again.
You call it frequency, I grew up, we called it vibrations.
It's the same, yep, frequency, vibration, absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense from people that have like claimed to see Bigfoot or aliens or something. You know, they let's say you're driving and you know you get that like road hypnosis. You know, let's say that puts you into a certain vibrational plane where when you're driving you see these things, or when you're out in nature, your body resonates at that, you know, the more peaceful, natural, happy resonance, and you're more prone to be able to see these things. And then, like you said, these people that, you know, one person that has seen a Bigfoot or alien or something, oh, I've seen like 3 of them now. Well, why are you seeing 3? It's not believable. But when you put it under the terms like that, where, well, once you've done it, you can do it, and you're more accustomed to that level, well, that makes a lot more sense.
Well, think about those of us that see ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once you see the ghost the first time, usually you'll see them again and again and again. Where you got people that walk their entire life go, that ain't real, I ain't never seen nothing like that. Well, they're at a different frequency, a different vibration than what those of us that have raised our vibrations and are seeing these things, having these experiences, than what they are, you know?
And that's it. You touched on a great point, because once you start tapping into it, now you can tap in more and tap in deeper and getting more and more information and having them maybe appear longer than what they did before. So it's holding that frequency and understanding that we are frequency and so are they. They're frequency vibration, so are we. And we just have to match that. And that's why when I say I see you 3 in front of me, There's actually 30 behind.
Oh, I believe it.
Where? I knew I was being followed.
Barn, I've been followed my entire life. I'm glad somebody has just admitted it to me. You know,
Those followers they say have on social media. Yeah. They're following me now.
Yeah, something like that. Well, there's more than 300. You know.
Yeah, there you go. So, I want to get your opinion on something here. We have had different opinions as to what happens to you after you pass away. Mm-hmm. And some of the people, I heard a really interesting theory that when we pass away, we actually not reincarnate, but start over, but not necessarily in timeline. Like after I die tomorrow, say, I could come back in the 1600s or the 1800s or something and live my life again. What is your opinion on that?
So time is not as we know it. Time is not a linear time zone. You can move around in time zones, hence the reason when people tap into historical things, and when I've tapped into historical, they've opened up the area. I am stepping into that time zone. I am not, and that's one of the things is time, it's a head spinner. It really is. When you really start getting into it, and it takes a while to get your head around it, and I'm still working on getting my head around it, how it all works. But time is not linear. You can kind of look at it as putting numbers on a dartboard of ages in time and throwing it at it and say, I want to tap into this one. I want to tap into this one. And you can definitely do that.
Kind of like regression. You know.
As I say, it's like going into the Akashic records, doing the regression, going into your past lives. You're tapping into that life. Like they look at it as you're taking a regression and you're exploring that life, but actually you're stepping yourself back into that life and then coming back. So that's my interpretation of things that I've experienced. So I'm going with that.
So do you think that then we're all individual souls, or do we experience different lives?
So think of it, I look at it this way. There's a soul, your personality, who you are. And you can choose, like, I want to take, say, 30% in this life, 10% in that life, 20% in this life, but I've still got this chunk of soul that I can always access for information, are part of our intuition. So no matter where you are, you can tap into that. So I guess another way is kind of look at splitting yourself into pieces. And each of these pieces are having different experiences. Say I want to experience, people kind of being crappy to me this time. I want to work myself through that. And then the next one I'm like, hey, I want to be this guy who has boats and money and I don't have to worry about things. I want to have those different experiences, but all of those experiences can be tapped in from any of your soul's experiences and brought together and helped with the next experience, with another experience that's going on. So say you experience something that's kind of a crappy time with people in your life. As you work through that energy of working through that and letting go of holding on to people that you shouldn't maybe have in your life, that affects the other ones. The other ones are able to tap into that. Your other parts of your soul are able to tap into that, which helps them in their lives also. And when you talked about a soul regression, when you go back, you try to fix things or help things that might have happened in another life, you're actually helping that. So when we talk about then this may be a little head spinner here, but talking about sending prayers up to help with something. What if you're the answer to the prayer of another part of yourself somewhere else?
I could see that.
So when you do your soul regression, you're the one helping with the information, helping to clear things with someone else.
Yep. I actually had experience with regression once. I kind of went back and I was more of just a watcher. Mm-hmm. I wasn't able to interact, but boy, did I feel everything in that moment. Not to go too deep in it, basically in that one regression, I was gunned down. I felt every piece of lead fly through my body during that moment, and it was unreal. And then you get brought right back into being here, and it's like, I'm okay. You're checking yourself, make sure you're not full of holes.
Right, and then helping. But by stepping back, you also made that one that felt that maybe that was my end, to realize there was more to life than just that end.
Yep.
So we're always helping each other, helping ourselves in so many ways that people don't realize. stumping them again.
I was just thinking, is that kind of like out-of-body experience, where that could be a part of you somewhere else saying, get up, you're not done.
Right.
Get up and go again?
Yes. So because you've had times where it's like, I need to move, I need to get out of the way, or you sense danger. So think of it, a lot of times that might be another part of your soul that's helping you, which is part of that intuitive part, and listening to it. It's just like, okay, I need to move. I need to not be in this situation. So we're always helping ourselves in a lot deeper aspect than a lot of us really realize.
You think that's partially what like deja vu is too, or?
Deja vu, yeah. So some of that with deja vu is us experiencing what we've already experienced before. So it is, deja vu is like stepping into yourself, stepping back, stepping forward, because like I said, time is not really linear. So it is, like I said, it's a head spinner when you really start going deep into time. I could talk like forever on time because it is a head spinner. There's so much more to it, but yet it's so, once we start expanding our mind to include the fact that we're more than just what's here, that's where the true growth comes, and that's where you start stepping into understanding and seeing. You're changing your frequency, your vibration, to start stepping into all the paranormal things.
All right, question for you here now. Talking about deja vu, I got a little bit different spin on it.
Go ahead.
My theory on deja vu is some are actual time markers, time stamps. Mm-hmm. Spots along the road to let you know you're on the correct path of where you're supposed to be. I've gotten these deja vu moments on and off my entire life. Sometimes I'll get them a couple in a month. Sometimes there'll be years in between. Now, that's a little bit different than what you're explaining. What's your thoughts on them?
But it's really the same thing. You set a time marker for yourself to know you're on the right path. So your soul is setting a time marker to say, when you see this again, you know you're on the right path. So it really is the same thing.
Okay.
Or like I was going to point out, like maybe, like you were talking about going back and helping yourself or your soul or something. When you pop back into this reality, it's like, you ever like listen to like an audiobook or a podcast or something and you hit pause and then it reverts like 30 seconds and then goes again? Kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, oh, I just did that.
Yep, just did that and coming back. And it's just letting you know that, hey, so you recognize the facts that, oh, I saw this, I experienced this before, I know I'm on the right path. Your soul's just saying, yep, you got it, and you're listening to your soul. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I actually had a deja vu moment actually here in Janesville about 8 years ago. I was driving through town with an ex-girlfriend of mine. She drove me past the house, and I swear I'd been in that house before. I stopped dead in the road, didn't care about traffic around us. I just stopped and looked at his house. I'm like, I've been there. I've seen that. And I find it quite interesting when you get moments like that, because prior to that, I'd never been to Janesville. I didn't even know anything about Janesville. I might have passed a sign on the highway saying Janesville 10 miles or something, but that was it. And just that first time coming to town, driving around, and then have that kind of moment.
But think of how cool it was that you listened to the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. And that's to give yourself credit for listening to that moment, that's huge. And that's what a lot of us really need to do, is give ourselves credit when we listen to the moment.
If I didn't listen to the moment, I wouldn't be here today.
Exactly.
She always gets this look like she's going to say something, and then she just smiles and drops the mic. Like, it's gone. All right.
I see where you get it from. Guys, I can't hold this together on my own,
He's doing really good.
What were we doing?
I forgot already.
This has been the most scatterbrained podcast I think we've done with a guest. Yeah. I apologize for you, but you seem to be having a great time. So.
I roll with it. I don't care.
I'm enjoying it. It's only my second time, right?
Yeah. Okay. Remind us again. Where are you from? Like, do you do in-person stuff, or do you just do like online training and stuff?
I do both. So I do in-person and online. Most of my stuff has been online. I do things over Zoom, and then people get the audio recording of the session afterwards, so they can review, they can download it, they've got it. and also so they can share with other people, because a lot of times, say when I do a mediumship reading, a lot of times there's information for someone else in the family, and that way they can share it with them. But,
That's very good.
But yeah, I do retreats, I speak, I write for Edge Magazine, and actually I was on the radio last week for, I forget where. Where was I? There's so many things going on.
See?
Being Curious out of 950 out of AM out of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
So,
Yeah.
so where are you based out of?
I am out of, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but the closest town is probably Appleton.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
Hey! I'm from a little sleepy town called Nichols right now.
Ooh, I know where that is.
I'm from Nina.
Oh, I know where that is too.
Do you know
And I'm
where
from
Bowler?
Appleton.
How about Bowler? Do you know Bowler?
I know where Bowler is.
That's from our other home. It's
Okay.
Stockbridge Reservation, baby.
Well, see, then we're not so bad.
Yeah, no wonder why she
Little
came
town
by
named
us.
Appleton.
Appleton.
Little Appleton.
A lot of
Nobody
people-
knows Appleton. So do you have a in-person stuff in Appleton area then, or?
I'm actually doing a retreat shortly in June. That will be in person. But a lot of times I do the expos, and then I do most of my stuff online that way. And I do go into different businesses, and I'll set up and do things for the day. But a lot of mine has been online.
Okay, cool. So they can. So again, remind us your name and where we can find you.
So my name is Angela Zabel. I am on, if you check out angelazabel.com, that's where you'll find, you can connect to anything from there. I've got YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So everything should be on there.
Awesome. We will get your information in the show links, and if this is out before June, then hopefully we can come out and check out your retreat and stuff. So
Awesome. Well, it was great. Thank you for having me on. I
thank you for
appreciate it.
being on. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend here at the Janesville Metaphysical and Paranormal Expo. I read it while I was saying it. Don't be too impressed.
Here, I was going to give you props, Marn. I was gonna give
Do
you
not
props.
give me props. Do not give me
Hides
props.
it behind the sign so you can read it.
That's right. It's right here. You got it right there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for putting up with
All
us.
right, thank you.
All right, our next guests are right here on Whispers from the Dark. I'll let them introduce yourself. Go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Mikala Ocampo. I'm from Park City Paranormal. I'm the founder of the group, and I'm really excited to be here.
I'm Katie Sturm of Park City Paranormal, and I'm just a team member, but I'm happy to be here.
She's amazing.
So, tell us a little bit about your group and how it got started.
So it's funny because we're an all-female paranormal group, and it wasn't intended to be like that. That's just kind of who showed up. So at the end of 2020, I mean, I've always been interested in the paranormal. I have always wanted to start a group. So one day I literally just went on our town's local Facebook page, and I just said, hey, I really want to start a paranormal group. Would anybody be interested? If so, we're going to meet, at this restaurant at this time or whatever. And a group of 5-6 girls showed up, and we really hit it off right away with each other. We really got along, and we had the same interests and the same kind of belief system and whatnot, and we just really, that's how we started. And we got a Facebook page, a website, we got all that going right away, ordered some equipment, and then we just started planning outings and investigations, and we've been loving it ever since. And our biggest thing is that we're such good friends that, even if we go somewhere and it's not what we expected, or you know what I mean, it's still such a fun time just being with each other and meeting new people and, having those experiences. It's always a good time.
Very cool. And you said you were just a member, so did you start from the beginning, or how long have you been with the group?
Since the beginning. So as soon as I saw her post, I was like, okay, maybe I'll go check it out. And I did, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, I'm in the place that I want to be, and with everything, I'm a believer, and I was like, I'm not the only one out there, obviously, when I saw that post, so I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm finally gonna do it, and yeah, so
She's not just a team member. She's my sidekick.
I am.
She's amazing.
You could maybe say second in command.
Oh, they're great. They're all wonderful. I love my team so much, and I could not do any of this without them. So, just because I'm the one who founded the group, in my opinion, we're completely the same level. We all need each other. We all complete each other, and I could not do it without them.
That's really cool. That's a lot of things, like the people that do Bigfoot and stuff, always say, if you go out to look for Bigfoot, you're going to be disappointed every time. But if you go out in the woods and you just go have a friend, if you go out and have a friend, if you go out with your friends and have a good time and stuff, you'll never be disappointed whether you have investigation or not. And you guys are saying the same thing with paranormal. So.
Oh, for sure. We always go into an investigation thinking like, okay, if we don't find something, that's fine. Like, we don't set our expectations too high. We go in intending to have a good time with each other, and if something happens, that's a bonus, basically. So that's how I think about it anyway. We always have fun no matter what we do.
Very cool. So how many places have you investigated? Where have you investigated?
You know what? That is something that we're still working on. I mean, we're fairly new. We formed at the end of 2020, and our biggest first kind of huge investigation, I would say, was Shaker's Bar in Milwaukee. Okay. And we're featured on their podcast, on their YouTube channel, and that was wild. That was so fun. Our biggest issue, I would say, from where we're from, up in Merrill, Wisconsin, north of Wausau, we don't have a lot of people asking for us to come investigate. It's more like, at this point in time, because we're new and because people don't really know that we're out there a whole lot. I mean, our main thing right now is trying to get our name out there and to get more people to ask us to investigate. But for now, we're doing like cemeteries, we're doing bars, restaurants that people, are asking us to do. There's some that we have yet to schedule that is kind of in the works, but otherwise, Shakers was our big one. There's a trail in Merrill called the Riverbend Trail. We've done that a few times. We've gotten a few reports that was haunted and that they wanted us to investigate that. What else have we done, Katie? I mean, obviously, I know there's a ton more, but, put me on the spot. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what you came here for, so.
Right? What am I talking about?
We did do the convent in Jericho.
Yes, we did. That was, it was cool and it was fun, but we didn't experience really anything.
Yeah, we didn't experience anything, but, we still had each other. We still had fun.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So. That was the convent. It was the school, the church, and the convent. And we didn't get to go in the church, but it was really, really freezing outside. Negative 20, I think, and the wind was super strong. It was super windy outside. Even if we joked around, we said even if there was a ghost messing with us, we wouldn't hear it because the wind was so strong. It was it just gave up, I guess.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. We didn't get a whole lot of stuff there, but where else
we did the Bloody Bride Bridge in Stevens Point, which Mikala here actually captured a photo.
Yeah, with a face, a girl
figure,
gasping, kind of whoa. And every person I show it to, they're like, oh my God, that's a face. There's a girl screaming. I'm like, yeah, that's what I see too.
So my question is, which Bloody Bride Bridge did you do in Stevens Point?
Highway 66. Yes. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it seems like. It's not really by anything. It's kind of near a park.
Is that the one that kind of goes over the dam?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
That
yep.
one.
Because if you actually did your research, there's two Bloody Bride
Yeah,
Bridges.
because we were getting confused on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because we did one of our third episode we ever did was Urban Legends, and we actually went to the Bloody Bride Bridge, we went to the Black Bridge, and we went to the Red Bridge, all in Stevens Point.
Oh, dang. Well, we'll have to check out the one we didn't check out. Whatever the other one is.
There you go.
Yeah.
The scariest thing that we found on the Red Bridge was a giant spider.
Ooh.
This big. It's in the episode. It's a big boy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, our teammate actually owns a Goliath bird eater tarantula, so she would be all into that. Let me tell you.
Well, she can go grab it then, take it, so I can go back there.
Yeah. She'll have a field day with that. The rest of us will be like, I'm out. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Have you guys done Boy Scout Lane in Stevens Point?
No, but we've talked
want
about
to.
doing it.
We definitely want to. My grandma has mentioned it a few times to me, and I'm like, all right, I'll put it on my list, Gram. I think right now we're kind of waiting for the weather to get a little bit better, and we're going to do a lot more outdoor locations. In the winter, it's always hard, when it's super cold outside, and trying to get in indoor places isn't as easy as like just public access outdoor, places. So like parks and bridges and cemeteries and things like that. So that the Boy Scout Lane is something I really want to do. Haunted roads are intriguing to me, so that's on my list.
But yeah, we definitely do have some stuff in the works,
Yeah.
especially with another team involved. So
Right. There's museums and in Wausau, museums down in this area. I would really like to do the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, but they're kind of sketchy about investigators coming to that. But love to do Shakers again because that was insane. Yeah, we have a lot. My dream place to go would be to Bobby Mackey's.
Okay.
Yes. But so that's one day when we make it big, right?
Very cool. So what is some of the evidence that you've actually caught? When you do go out.
Right. And what I've realized is we don't actually need a whole lot of fancy equipment that's specific to paranormal investigation. It's like we've caught, at least everything that I've caught was just like pictures with my phone. I mean, I've captured a ton of faces in my pictures and things that I cannot explain, in photos just from my phone or audio just from our simple audio recorder. I mean, it's nothing fancy. I mean, sure, we use EMFs and everything like that, and that helps us, but I would say the most prominent evidence would be just on our phones, honestly.
I was going to say, and when it comes to evidence, it seems like you always capture the photos.
Yeah.
Always.
There's always somebody peeking in my pictures.
I've actually captured quite a few EVPs.
You're right,
So-
right. It seems like we each get our own
It's like a-
share of types of evidence.
Evidence, yeah.
I seem to get pictures of things, and I'll have to show you some of them later. They're freaky.
Very cool. So you guys don't have many investigations coming your way. Where can people get a hold of you if they want to get you guys to come out there?
Yes, please do. Please contact us. We are just north of Wausau. So we have a website, and it's parkcityparanormal.godaddysites.com. And then we also have our Facebook page, which, you can just look up Park City Paranormal. You'll find us. It's the all-female team. Don't let that bother you. Don't let that, because some people are like, what? Why? Like, why would you be an all-girl team? And we're like, we did not plan that. That just was fate, I guess. Some people think it's cool, which is awesome. But, we have our Facebook, we have our Instagram, if you just look up Park City Paranormal. But yeah, we're willing to travel a little bit. And we would really like to start doing some more like residential investigations, like in-home investigations. We haven't really done any of that yet because not a lot of people, I think people are scared or people just don't know about us yet. And we're just really kind of in that stage of trying to get our names out there because we have the equipment, we have the motivation, we're ready to go. We're just waiting for people to find us. So.
Very cool. All right. Well, if we get anything in your neck of the woods, we'll make sure to let you know too.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. And again, Park City Paranormal.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you guys
you.
have a great day. Thanks for listening.
All right. Our next guest here on Whispers from the Dark is, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Karlie The Medium. I'm from around this area, Janesville, Beloit, all that good stuff area. So, yeah, I'm a psychic medium. I do paranormal investigations, home cleansings, and all that good stuff.
Cool. So what are you specifically doing here today?
So I'm doing oracle card readings, mediumship readings. I also sell some of my all-natural products.
Ooh, like what?
Well, we got some. I wasn't expecting this. Okay, no. I got some bath oils, body oils, some body balms, lip scrubs, lip chapsticks, all that good stuff.
Cool. And that's all natural. You make it yourself then, or?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it, so it's nice. Yeah.
So, when did you figure out that you were a medium? Like, how did this all get started? How did you get started into paranormal? What came first?
Okay, so I've always kind of been interested in like paranormal investigations and stuff. Like my mom and I and like my family, we watch like all the cool like TV shows and everything. And then I've always been fascinated with, like, you know, seeing all the psychic mediums and stuff. I'm like, man, I really wish that I could do stuff like that. And I guess I didn't put 2 and 2 together, that the stuff that I was seeing and the stuff that I was experiencing was like, hey, did you know you can actually do the stuff that you see on TV? You don't have to wish for it. It's happening. So I had to have one of my friends basically give me a slap on the face and was like, hello, you can do the same things that I can do. And I'm like, oh, so you don't hear them in their voice, you hear them in your voice? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, so the voices in my head, I'm not crazy. Okay. And then I kind of just took that and I ran with it, and I've been doing this ever since, giving messages to people. It's been a crazy ride, and I'm super grateful for everything.
Cool. Well, we've had a couple other mediums and stuff on the show and that, and I just got to turn this down a little bit here. There we go. We've had a couple other mediums and stuff on the show, so I always like to talk to you about like how you experience it yourself. And you just kind of said that you hear it as your own voice, like in your head.
Yeah, I also can see them. Like, I can't get names, but I can tell you what they look like, how they dress, what their hair looks like, if they wear glasses or not, if their personality, you know, like their accents and stuff. It's very interesting, and I'm still fairly new to doing it professionally, so it's a learning process, and that's what I enjoy.
So how long have you been doing it?
Well,
2 days. Oh, good. Yeah.
Right.
How long is this convention?
How long have I been here for? I've been doing it for a little over 3 years now.
Okay.
Professionally. I've been doing it on and off like a while, I guess, like in high school. You know, you're that outcast, witchy person, and then you kind of get it and you understand, oh, okay. What I was doing in high school makes a lot more sense now. What I was picking up makes a lot more sense now. There's a name to it. And so that's really nice. And it's like, oh, other people experience this. You know, you have that broader spectrum of things. You know, you can learn more, educate yourself more. So that's really cool. And so that's kind of how I got into understanding that kind of stuff.
So how long have you been like hearing the stuff in there?
Ever since childhood, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't remember like a specific event or anything that started it, or
No.
when you first realized it?
Yeah, it's kind of just been just childhood. I know sometimes people talk about how they've had like spontaneous openings and stuff like that, like through near-death experiences of like past loved ones, or even near-death experiences for themselves, but I never had that. Well, okay, so I take that back, actually. So my grandmother's death, that was a very, very hard thing to experience, and I was maybe 12, 13, something like that, and that kind of skyrocketed everything for me. I kind of just shunned everything else. I kind of had this whole shedding of religiousness, and I'm not saying anything bad about religion, but that was just my way of going through things. Got rid of all of that good stuff, and then I was kind of like, okay, I looked at books, I looked at everything having to do with witchcraft, and then experiencing like other shows and everything coming to light, you know, more socially acceptable paranormal things, or like, I don't know, maybe just me expanding my horizons, you know? So that kind of got me into it, and it's like just grew so much more, because I'm like, oh, I'm so fascinated by paranormal stuff. I love learning about this. I would love to be able to do my own stuff. And so I kind of was like, okay, I'll get there eventually. And now that I have this, that I know that I have this ability, it's just opened up so many doors. And like doing stuff like this, being on this podcast, and experiencing so many things, and like being on a team, being able to help people. And that's kind of my main thing, is what I want to do. I want to be able to help as many people as possible. And so if it's in the universe for me to be on TV, okay, if that helps me help people, I'm about that, you know?
So, have you had any kind of professional training, or is this all like self-taught that you've done?
It's all self.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've had like my friends who are a little bit more of like a mentor-esque, not really like professional, like sit down, you know, go through that kind of stuff. It just never really worked out for me, financially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of just try to learn stuff myself and learn how I run things. Because, I mean, like, it's great to have people help you, but you kind of have to figure out how you do your own stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it's been trial and error, mostly error. But, yeah.
A lot of people learn their own ways and stuff too, you know, maybe like, you know, a lot of the other mediums and stuff here that do the teaching and that do it like online or stuff. And, you know, I don't know personally, like, I mean, I'm more of a show me once and then I got to try it kind of person. And if that's not the way that you learn, I mean, you could have the best teacher in the world and it's not going to help you, you know? So that's cool. You know, you gotta do it your own way and everything.
Yeah. And I'm kind of just, somehow this is just my personality. I like to do things difficult for some reason. You know,
there you go.
Yeah, it never really, sometimes it works out for me, sometimes it's like, why didn't I do that? Hello, come on, Karlie, why didn't you do that? And it's like, because I don't think about those things. So it's nice to have do it yourself, but also other people helping you and supporting you. That support system is really nice.
So have you come to all these events? Is this the first one you've done, or have you done other ones? Or
this is the second time that I've ever done something like this before. Second time being a vendor. Second time doing an investigation like last night and stuff. That was insane. That was really cool. So no, I'm still fairly new at this kind of stuff. But all the energy around here and like all the vendors and everything like that, all the speakers and stuff, it's really cool. And so I would love to do more stuff like this.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to any of the psychics and mediums here and learn anything new or help you out at all? Or
yes. So I I know that you talked about, you had the demonologist, Jeremy. I talked to him. One of my friends too, he's actually the main celebrity here. Not to say anything, but not to be like, oh yeah, I'm like one with the celebrities. No, I don't, nah. But he's been helping me out a lot too with like, my main thing is confidence. I struggle with that a lot, so it's nice.
We all?
Yeah.
I know, right? If we can have more of those uplifting people, that'd be fantastic.
So you said that you work with a paranormal team. So you want to tell us about them too?
Yeah, Team Whippet. So I am still fairly new with them, so still trying to learn the ropes and everything. Team Whippet, so it's a Wisconsin, Illinois paranormal investigation team.
Whippet.
Nice.
And then you have the other one over there that's WAP.
Yeah,
so,
WAP.
Yeah.
I love it.
We are paranormal.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. So now we have WAP over there and we have Whippet over here. And
yeah.
It's like a whole concert going on. I don't know.
Right? It's going to be great. We're all break out and like dancing and singing.
Well, I hope so.
Soon.
I'm waiting for something exciting.
I know, right?
I'll come up and can with you.
There we go.
I don't want to be the one to start it though.
Yeah.
We got to do it. Either
gotta
you
got
to do it first, or we got to do it together.
Got to do it together. I can't do it on my own.
Okay, we'll do it on 3.
You know.
We'll just like start.
If he starts he's going to knock over a lot of stuff right here.
You gotta wait till after the podcast.
Right. Oh, yeah, professional stuff first.
Yeah.
Then we'll get into that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So, where have you any big investigations and stuff that you guys have done as a team yet, or?
So my like trial one to like see how everyone worked together and stuff was the Ashmore Estates, and that's in like kind of by Champaign, Illinois, and stuff like that. Oh my goodness! So we haven't gone through the stuff yet.
Evidence?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Words escape me sometimes.
That's right.
The more that we talk, you'll get that.
Suffer from the same thing.
Yeah, it's very much appreciated that you guys know what I'm trying to say. It helps. So I picked up on a lot of stuff, and that was crazy. And luckily, I have a very supportive boyfriend, so he was there to help me too and stuff. And like, he doesn't fully
Believe?
yeah, a little bit. He has a little
Skeptical?
bit of skepticism, and like that's good. That's healthy. He didn't actually like fully believe me right away, and then I did a reading for his mom about her dad, and she's really funny because she's like, I love her very much, but like she's very like lively and stuff. So she was like, "Oh my God, this is exactly what you like. That's crazy. You've never seen a picture of him before ever. How would you know that?" I'm like, "It's his hair. Like, he's talking about his hair." I was like, "Was he like super crazy about his hair?" She's like, "Oh my God, yeah." So that kind of helped him believe me a little bit more on stuff. So yeah, it could have been a damper in our relationship, but I like that, so that's all right. I like the challenge. So yeah, we need to focus on task. Okay. So
Reel it
I
in.
know, right? I need to. So yeah, we were going through a lot of things and stuff like that. Evidence-wise, I don't know for sure. But I definitely heard some things. Even like, you know, I'm so used to hearing it in my mind's, or like hearing it mentally and seeing it mentally. I wasn't expecting to actually physically hear something. And so it was actually in the morning when we were getting ready, we were going through and stuff. So I didn't know anything going in. I don't like to know anything going into an investigation. Just if the rest of the team wants to, go for it. If it's for me, I try to like not know anything, just pick up on stuff.
I get that.
Yeah.
I really do.
And I think it helps with like the validation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you know, I scare myself of how accurate I am sometimes. It's like, oh, I picked up on that. That's crazy. That's really good. That's instant validation for myself. So I like that. So yeah, I heard some like a loud like exhale in my ear. And I thought it was like my boyfriend messing around with me. I'm like, is that you? He pops out of the like complete opposite side of this room. I'm in the hallway by myself. Nobody else was around me. I was like, was that any of you guys? Was that you? Was it you? Was it you like messing around with me? Nobody was around me. And so that was interesting. So that was kind of a cool experience that I had physically. And then I was just like picking up on, there was this person that wanted to scare me because they didn't want me to be there, of course. So I open up this closet and there's somebody hanging. Like I see him, like as how he died, he hung himself. And then he drops down and he starts slowly making his way towards me. I'm like, okay, you can follow me around, that's fine, whatever. I get it, you're curious about me. But you can't follow me home. You stay here, this is your boundary, you can't cross that. And so that was really interesting. Him like broken neck, like moved off to the side and stuff like that. So that was interesting. And then I like saw images. So like the Ashmore Estates, I found out with the validation that it was a poor farm at first. I could be wrong, so don't listen to what I have to say. But poor farm, a mental asylum for people of all ages. Then it was an old folks home, and then old folks home for people with like dementia and Alzheimer's. So it was very interesting for me to see the different, like going through the different people and stuff, and seeing how things were. So like, I walked into a room, and I saw somebody putting, like, that was more with it. I could tell mentally. He had his clothes laid out. I saw his room, how it was set up and everything. I saw pictures of him and his wife him in the military and stuff like that, him in his like uniform and stuff. So that was really interesting seeing that. So much detail too. Normally I don't get that kind of detail. I don't get the whole room and everything. I get just the person. So that was crazy to me. That was a new experience. So I was like, wow. It's kind of testing to see how far I can reach for myself. So that was really cool.
So when you say that you see that, are you still seeing it in your head, or are you seeing it with your eyes? Okay.
Yeah, I see it in my head. I should have specified that.
Yeah, I was wondering when you saw the guy hanging there and stuff, if you actually, because obviously, like, maybe you didn't see it on the camera or whatever, but did you see it with your eyes looking there, or did you get the picture in your head?
The mental picture.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really interesting too because we have an SLS camera, and you could see him, or like we could see something else crawling up the wall, and you could see that, and I'm like, yep, he's going up the wall. I could see, as looking at the SLS camera, I could see that on the screen, and I could see actually in my mind seeing him crawl up because he liked the attention. So yeah, it was, for the first time actually having it be my like first investigation ever, I couldn't have had it any other way. That was like amazing, and it's just going up from here, hopefully.
Cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
So I have a question, and if you're not comfortable answering it, just say that.
I'm an open book.
All right. So, with some of the psychics and, mediums and stuff we have on the show, I always like to ask them, have you seen anything that isn't human?
I'm kind of iffy about that. And the reason why I say that is because it could be something trying to trick you into thinking that it's not human. Later you find out. And I'm not that well educated enough to make that decision and be comfortable saying that to other people. I don't fake anything. I don't try to say or do things that I don't know about. So I'm just going to say I don't have too much information to make that decision.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair. So, moving on then, I want to ask you one more thing here. Talk about, like, you said that you have these, the products that you make yourself and stuff. How did that get started? How did you get involved in that?
Well,
20 minutes later.
Right. I got bored one time. And I don't get bored ever again because mundane job, and then now like other stuff. It's mostly just the main mundane job that I have that's like taking most of the time. But it was a hobby, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I want to make this for myself. I want to see if I can do this. And then that spiraled into, ooh, I can do this. Ooh, I can do this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, I have all of this stuff. It's kind of like a meditation-esque thing. Why not sell it?
Very cool.
So, but it's nice here because people actually enjoy talking, which is nice. And doing readings and stuff. I've sold a couple things. That's all right. But yeah, it's really cool.
So now, do you actually have a storefront, or do you have like an Etsy, or do you have anything where you sell? Do you have a website? Where can people get a hold of you?
So Facebook is like my jam. So I have it's Karlie The Medium, LLC on Facebook. I have like a little shop there too, and then people can book readings on that as well. I have a website, but I have a really hard time keeping up with the website. So Facebook, I'm all about. Website, not so much.
Okay.
And email. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Just email too.
And what is your email?
It's Karlie The Medium 20 at gmail.com.
How do you spell Karlie?
Karlie.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways to spell it.
I know, my mom wanted to be difficult naming me.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And do you do the readings and stuff, is that online, or do you go to their house, or how does that work?
Both, kind of. So if you're like around the area and stuff, depending on your needs and everything, I can go in person and on Zoom.
Okay. And where are you based out of for like people in the area?
I'm based out of the Janesville, Beloit area. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. We hope we'll...
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely. We'll get all of your social media links and everything in the show notes for anybody to come check out. And again, your spell that and one more time.
Yeah, it's Karlie The Medium, Karlie, The Medium. I'm sorry, what else did you say?
The
Terrible.
LLC on Facebook, right?
Oh, yes, LLC on Facebook.
All right, cool. Because some people don't want to click on things, so they just want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The visual people. It's nice.
Yeah.
And the
Audio.
audio. I know things. It's great.
Speaking is good. Yay.
Yes, I know English.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. To find out more about cryptids, anomalies, and the Paranormal Society, visit us at our website at wisconsincaps.com. That's Wisconsin, CAPS.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon. You will see links to our online store as well, where you can get t-shirts, DVDs, and more. If you click on the public events page, you can find out where you can meet us in person and all the public events we have coming up. If you enjoy our podcast or our YouTube shows, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/WisconsinCaps. There you can find behind-the-scenes pictures and videos from all of our media, as well as bonus footage and evidence that we have collected. If you have encountered something you can't explain, we want to hear from you. Visit our website and click on Submit a Report on our main screen. You can choose to leave your contact information or simply remain anonymous. You can also reach us via email at wisconsincaps@gmail.com. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us on our Whispers from the Dark podcast page on Facebook, or send us an email at wisconsincaps.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen or watch or find us.